Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey,
Good to be back.
it's good to be back.
Isn't it? It's been a couple weeks.
It has
Yeah.
been. It has been.
I totally lied the last time. I think I told everybody we'd be back on the weekly. I apologize. That's my fault.
That's all right. We'll aim for that next time. Next time,
Yeah.
we got to keep them guessing. Like
Yeah.
to think of those poor people at home crying themselves to sleep because we didn't show up on a Thursday afternoon. Where are they?
Where are they?
We
What
did
is
try.
so
Friends, my
what is-
internet friends.
what is so
It's my
important?
internet friends. We love our fans. We do.
Well, you
We do.
were out of town. Matt, you've just
Yes.
been busy. I've just been busy, basically. I don't know. Do you have a nice trip, Doss?
I did. Yes. Thank you. I was just telling you guys, well, I've been telling you for a while about the cicadas. That was the worst part of the trip.
Yeah.
It was a great trip to Kirksville, Missouri to visit the family. My littlest sister, Katja, was in the process of moving to Iowa City. So she actually was packing most of the week and very emotional. And then we were just settling up some of my mom's estate. So all of us were emotional. It was like, up, down, all around. And then cicadas on top of that, which was fucking nuts. Insane. I got stories because it is a headline. I'll tell it later because when I say cicada now, I immediately the anxiety rises and the blood boils. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna save those stories, but it was good. I love Missouri this time of year because it's so freaking green and pretty, and especially in that part of the state, it was really fun to be there. So sans all the bugs and shit in the air, but whatever.
So you sent
Deal
a
with
video.
it.
You sent a video to us of your brother showing you videos of hot DJs DJing.
Yes, I did.
And I wanted to talk to you about that. I just was. And
Glad
this,
you brought that up, Tice. Yeah, I'm
I
happy
can't.
to answer any and all of your questions.
Okay, because this is gonna sound terrible, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So first off, has your brother always been doing this? Is this a recent thing? I mean, I never thought to look
Okay.
up hot DJs.
Okay, so this is how I found out about the hot DJs. My brother he's director of operations at the local television station there and head of engineering on one side. On the other side, he is doing game development and starting his own company and all that stuff. He's always doing crazy shit. And it's really cool. So I walk into his office at his place, and on two of his monitors, he's got just coding and all that stuff going on. And on one of the monitors, he's got a blonde hot DJ just cranking out these terrible fucking house tunes. And I start laughing my ass off. And I'm like, are you in the zone? Is this how you get into the fucking zone? And he's like, abso-fucking-lutely. So later that night with my sister's best friend, Colby, who's like a little brother to us. We were all in Matt's living room and he was showing us all of the hot girl DJs that he watches. It was just on a loop. And so obviously I had to send Tyson and Smith some of the videos. They're great.
I had to. So what were they? They weren't good DJs. They were just bump.
Oh no. I mean, I will send you links, and anybody else who is curious to some of these DJs, they're not great. And the videos are weird. It's like them by a pool in Miami or in Dubai or in some other, and the angles are some of them are over their head just so you can see down their cleavage. It is just not, it's not tasteful at all. I can't believe these women would put themselves on this level, but internet bills, gotta pay them, whatever.
I'm glad you said that because that takes a lot of the blunt force out of what I'm going to say, which is that it seems like a hot girl DJing is kind of like a dog act when the dog can stand up. The dog can stand on its hind legs and bounce around a little bit, but the dog is fine by itself. It doesn't need to do any more tricks. It's fine. You don't need to be a DJ. Just be a hot girl walking around. It's fine.
But apparently they have to. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I mean, if it's a true calling, I totally understand it. But like I just couldn't imagine it was anything more than the.
I mean, I think it's half I used to be a stripper and then I really liked the music that was playing and now
Oh,
I bought 2 turntables
and 3 drones.
and 3 drums and a nice camera and now I've got millions of YouTube followers.
Uh,
So, good.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah, God
it,
That,
bless him. Yeah,
yeah. The whole
yeah,
time they were just on stage, just looking at the DJ booth, thinking,
yeah,
one day,
exactly.
I'm gonna be that guy.
as
I'm,
they're grinding a pole.
Yeah. You
I
come
don't
to
mean to demean the women, but they are out there. I mean, some of them didn't even have headphones on. They had nails out to here and I'm like, "How are you even like scratching or like able to hit dials when you're supposed to like what is going on?" And some of them they weren't doing anything. They were just like, Colbert's whole joke when he's like, "Oh, let me add this up," and he does this thing on, the
yeah,
calculator.
yeah.
That was the equivalent of a lot of these women. I'm just like, wow, this is a whole genre I had no idea about.
I do like the idea that it gets your brother in the zone, though. That's like you know how long it would take to figure that out. It would take years for me to figure out something like that.
I mean, if that is what is going to help him to work on his current game, which is awesome, and I cannot wait to show you guys like the demo. Great, but it is weird. I am concerned on a sisterly level for his well being, obviously, but yeah.
Ah, all right. Well, I just was curious about that.
Well, yeah, and prepare for some links later when I go onto YouTube and find all these ladies again. So,
oh, oh yeah.
uh,
is that if
TBD.
one were to like go into this deeper, you just like Google hot DJ? Is that like how one goes down this rabbit hole? Is there
Is
a
it on
better
Pornhub or is it on?
nomenclature? I don't know where
Well,
to go.
it might be a Pornhub thing. According to my brother, he just stumbled upon it. I don't think that's what happened. I think he was on some site outside of YouTube and then it brought him to YouTube and then he was like, "Oh, this is fantastic.
This is the
I'm
same.
just
It's
going to
like when your wife like sends you, like, no, she's a DJ. She's a DJ. Like, that's over. Like it's fine. It's fine. Musical appreciation, baby. All right.
one of my concerns. I'm like, Matt, because I think he's ready to like start dating again and all this stuff. I'm like, there's no way that some straight woman is going to be okay with you being in your zone, watching a bunch of boobies at your peripheral just bounce around. He's like, oh, well, my kind of woman will be Jess. So it'll be cool.
Well, a
Yeah.
hot DJ, like
A
a
hot
hot
DJ.
DJ
Yeah.
would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Exactly.
I love that you guys are already in his corner.
we're-
It's all right. I mean, I get it.
I
I mean,
get it. Yeah.
I mean,
we're-
I'm amazed.
I mean, it is pretty amazing. I can't wait for you guys to watch because I want to see how long you can actually stomach some of these videos. I mean, they will DJ for hours. Some of the videos are like 2, 3 hours long. It's insane.
What I
So,
think? I was just thinking about. You guys can think about it too. What video is there that you never thought of that would get you in the zone? I think me would be those
mm,
acts from the 50s and 60s that used to spin plates like on Ed Sullivan. If I just had a loop of that going the whole time in the third monitor, I think that would do a lot for me. To be honest with you.
I absolutely have an answer to this, and it's been the same since I was in middle school. But in middle school, it was two television shows. It was The Brady Bunch and Saved by the Bell, and I would just do my homework to those two shows, like not really paying attention to the show, but like I begin to absorb like all of it, like just the whole thing just entered my head. And so to this day, I watch an episode of that show and like I almost know it verbatim, which is terrifying. But no, and now,
interesting.
embarrassingly enough, now my show of choice is Degrassi, either the old school Degrassi or the
Yes.
next generation,
Yeah.
just kind of having it on
Yes.
in the background and like that gets me in the zone because it just it's better
And
than fully paying attention, I guess.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
mine is obviously the Mystery Science Theater, much to my
There you
wife's.
go. Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
that's,
and
yeah,
you could swap
perfect.
out the Simpsons pretty well for that too.
Simpsons are great. Yeah, that's what I was watching while doing homework in high school. But also Saved by the Bell, also Jerry Springer. because it was on right after school, and
Man,
I'd just be like cranking it out, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Now I can watch other things.
it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That like couple of precious hours between like when you got home from school and when your parents got home from work, where you could basically watch whatever the fuck you wanted to. That was golden. Like that was
Fucking
the true
freedom.
golden
That was
hour.
freedom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd make sad
And-
nachos. It was great. Which was basically like shredded cheese on a bunch of Tostitos, 30 seconds in the microwave, a bunch of paste pecani sauce on top of it. Eat it as fast as I can because my mom would yell at me if she caught me eating it. Because it was all about fruit, fruit, vegetables, and meats.
Yeah,
Food pyramid. Yeah.
the poor man's nachos, definitely something of our generation. I definitely do it.
Oh,
I still
right?
do it sometimes. Yeah.
I do too sometimes, and I get nostalgic about it. I'm like, man,
yeah.
adult poor nachos are the best.
Yeah. Also, the cheese blast, which is basically for those not from central Kansas, central western Kansas, is basically a tortilla with cheddar cheese in it, microwave for about
Yeah.
45 seconds.
Yep.
That is also delicious.
The three
I will say.
the three amigos.
Amigos,
That's what
yeah.
that was their answers to Grande's cheese blast, which
Okay.
I attribute Grande to the invention of that. But as that, I don't know if that's factual. Seems like somebody before them probably melted cheese on
In
a
a
tortilla
tortilla.
late at night. Never to be credited. Yeah.
Do you want an enchilada? Yeah, but I don't want any onions and no sauce and no meat. Yeah, so that's what I
It's
want.
a vegetarian enchilada. Yes.
Oh, delicious. It's all delicious.
It is delicious.
I may make some tonight, actually.
It is often made in this house. Beth does it all the time. Of course, it's
Hell yeah. It's a great snack.
It is. We did this thing we'd never done before last week. God, it's so traumatic. It could have been 3 weeks ago. I don't know. It was a long. Anyway, our vet that we use is a farm vet because farm vets are different than city vets.
Yes.
Farm vets won't push you to do your analysis or whatever. You just do whatever you need to do for the pets, and that's it. No extra whatever. Although we do take our dogs to a chiropractor, but whatever. Anyway, it seems to help them.
Wait, what? You do?
Yeah, we take the dogs and they get adjustments.
To a human chiropractor?
No, a vet who's training.
A vet who actually does. Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
I was going to say a dog chiropractor, which would have been much more impressive, but that's still pretty cool.
That is cool. I had no idea.
It is a dog. Oh, you mean an actual dog doing the chiropractor?
Yeah, it's like an actual dog doing the chiropractor.
No, that would be
actually doing the alignment.
I think
so cute with the paws. You guide me.
No, that would be. Yeah, I'd go to that chiropractor.
You got 50% chance that the dog's going to yell at his own clients or hump them. One of them. It's like, bark. Anyway, no, it really does help them, and it's really funny too because they'll be like, yeah, her neck was out a little bit, and her lower spine was out of place, so I put it back in.
Wow.
And we actually have a friend of ours had a dog that was so out of place that she couldn't show that day, and there's a chiropractor on the property for dog shows a lot of times, and she took her to him, and he fixed her up, and she was back out there. So It's a thing. I know. $50, which is like more than I pay for a chiropractic visit, but that's why we have pet insurance. Yay. So anyway, we go to this vet that's like 35 miles out of town because it's no bullshit and he's a good vet. And so the first time we've ever done this, we took both dogs and both cats. Never taken our cats anywhere since they came here we moved here from the fire.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They've never left. But they're starting to go outside and they're starting to play with little squirrel babies and whatnot, and they don't have any of their shots, so we have to get them some shots. Hi, Pete. Sorry about that. So anyway,
did your cat just jump at you?
Cleo did. Did you hear that thump? I was like, what?
Saw her too.
Yeah. So anyway, I put the cats are so trusting. We have this one big carry case for like a medium-sized dog or two big cats. And I just went and picked up the cats and I put them in there, and they were both fine. And Beth's like, "How'd you get them in there?" I was like, "They don't know what's going on. They don't know what to be afraid of yet. It's not." So anyway, put them in the car. They were quiet, and then the whole drive down, they're like, "Meow,"
Ah,
like
shit.
they're crying and hissing, and they're getting in each other's face a little bit, and they won't shut up. And I got my fingers in the little grates back there, and they're rubbing their heads on my fingers. I'm like, just calm down. Let's go.
Aw, I love
And
that part.
so
While they're screaming, "Fuck you, where are you taking me?"
yeah, they're like, yeah, well, we still need to mark you up just in case. But so anyway, we get down there. I take the cats into the lobby, and they're fine. They don't say anything. They're just nothing. And so they put us in another little waiting room. And so they take one dog, blood work, blah blah blah, comes back. Take the other dog, blood work, blah blah blah, comes back. Lady comes in and just says, "I'm just going to take the cats, and you guys can stay in here." And I was like, okay. And about 3 minutes later, she came back and she goes, "Who do the cats like better, you or best like Tyson?" Like, yeah, it's probably me. So I went into the room, and there were three. There were two attending veterinarians, and it smells. And I realized that in the time that I had been gone, one of the cats shit and pissed the entire crate. So the cat is covered in urine, and
Oh,
and the other cat's got urine
no.
on the cat. And I said, "Well, what happened?" And they're like, "We just went to reach for it, and they started hissing. We didn't even try opening it. We didn't get that far." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, they kind of they had traumatic growing up. They were kind of rescue kitties, so that's probably what this is or whatever." So I reach in and I pull out the black and white cat, which is called Linnell because that's his name, and he's covered in urine. He's soaking in it, like from his butt all the way up to underneath here, on his chest.
Oof.
And I'm like, "Do you want me to hold him?" Meanwhile, I'm just, you know, I'm scenting myself with this cat, and they're like, "Well, you can't really hold it like that because it's not going to do its thing." And so I said, "Well, what do you have to do?" And she's like, "Well, we have to take some blood from either one of his hind legs, and we have to give him 2 shots in the hind legs. Uh, so we just need to do all of as fast as we can." I said,
Fuck.
"Okay." I was like, "All right, all right, all right." So I was like, "Why don't you guys leave me alone? I'll try to calm down the cat." So the cat's mad at me, but I've got it on towels and I'm holding it. And this time they come back, there's 3 of them. And they're like, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to hold the cat by the scruff. We're going to wrap it up in a towel. And then you're going to hand the scruff off to her. And then they're going to hold him wrapped in towels, and I'm going to do the thing." And I was like, "Okay." So I grabbed him by the scruff. And then the one of the veterinarians put a towel on her, and I can tell you, I've never heard a cat make a noise like this ever in my entire life. It was so loud. Like as soon as I handed off the scruff, he just went like that, and it was
That's
so
pretty good.
loud. And I was like, I mean,
That was pretty good.
I was just like, what is going on? And so I was like, this is not going to happen. Sorry, guys. So they left, and I put him on the ground, and then I wiped out Flanell, the other cat, Flansburgh, refuses to come even close to the door. Right? They're like, he's just in the back,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
just sitting in the piss, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'll just get as much as I can around here. Put the cats back in there, and then I take them out to the car. But first, I stopped by the waiting room with Beth, and I was like, "You heard that, didn't you?" She's like, "Everybody heard that." She's like, "Who was it?" I was like, "Linnell." And she, she's like, "He's never done anything like before." I know, but we've never taken him to the vet before like that. So anyway, we got him into the car. I was expecting them not to talk to me for several days. Um, and they didn't make any noises on the way back. So either they knew they won.
Oh, yeah, because they're plotting revenge.
So anyway, uh, and meanwhile, Beth's like, "You have to take your shirt off. It reeks, And I was like, I don't like going shirtless. I was like, "I'm gonna get a sunburn through the windshield." She's like, "Shut up," I'm like, "Fine, whatever." So I'm sitting there, topless in my wife's car, and I don't. And so anyway, we get home. It is past their food time. I set the thing down. I opened the doors, and I went, "Kitties?" And they both just were fine. They ran up here and they're like, "Would you feed us some food?" And I was like, "Yes." And then no retribution whatsoever. But so so this is the plan. So we really do want to get them shots because they like to go outside. and they've been playing with squirrels and things like that. They shouldn't do, so they might get rabies. And so they prescribed gabapentin, which is this.
What? I'm not
Gaba,
familiar with it.
ga- Gabapentin is used for lots of different things. I don't remember what it was designed for, but it's used to dull nerve endings. It's used to make people sleep. Um,
Mhm.
I've
Okay.
taken it in the past for back problems, whatever. But they prescribed it, and so we're supposed to pill these cats before we go because it's supposed to take the edge off. And I don't know that there's any edge that this. I mean, these they may just have to be indoor kitties for the rest of their lives. But if I could have recorded that and made that my ringtone, I would have been happy. Like I mean, it's like I I can't even explain. I've never heard a cat make a noise like that. I've never heard an animal make a noise
I
like
haven't heard that either.
that. It was like a shriek. So anyway, so that was fun. Took a shower.
So did you give the cats a bath? Did you end up having to bathe them or what happened there?
So Beth's like, "What are we gonna do about the cats?" She's like, "We're gonna have
Yeah.
to bathe them," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? After what just happened, there's no way we're gonna bathe those cats tonight."
Yeah, you would have shreds for arms.
And so
Yeah.
I was like, "Look, here's the deal. Cats are actually pretty clean. They clean themselves. They take care of their stuff or whatever." Um, by the next day, Linnell, who smelled the worst, had cleaned himself up that you could barely smell it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
there's this stuff called poof. I think it's called. It's spelled like PHOOF or PHOOP, and
Okay.
they sell it as a way to get rid of a pet smell or bad odors. It's kind of like a duct tape version of Febreze. You can use it on everybody. The guy he's like you can even spray it in your mouth, and he sprays it in his mouth and on the commercial, and he's showing spraying dogs with it and like wiping them down. And
Oh,
so I,
I
I
have seen this.
so I
Okay.
told Beth, I said, you could probably get one of those from Amazon in like 4 hours because we live right next to a distribution center, and we did. And then she's like, hold Flansburgh, and I'm going to spray him because he's too fat to clean himself. I'm like, that's not a very nice thing to say, but anyway, um, so I hold him up. And cats don't like to be sprayed with water, but he was fine with it. He was just like, whatever, she sprayed him and I put him down. And then she was like, oh, it says here that this is not safe for pet consumption. I'm like, but that's what I was like, the commercial said. So we had to get him and then towel him off as best we could so he wouldn't.
Uh,
Anyway, but probably 2 days later, you couldn't smell anything, which is pretty amazing.
That is
Um,
amazing.
yeah, because I was like, "There's no way we're not doing a bath," and now we're not going to even try to hire somebody to do a bath. Seeing how that went, like I was like, "Oh."
Oh, no, no, no.
So
Yeah.
if the gabapentin thing doesn't work, then they're just going to be indoor kitties. There's just no way around it, or we'll build a catio for them or something. I don't know. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So that
That makes me feel better about Leoben taking him to the vet a little because he just like he hasn't shit or pissed himself yet, but I feel like that's coming. He definitely like has a moment where he's like fuck everybody and he just like stiffens up and will not come out of his box. But then once he's out, like it's like rigor mortis sets in and you could literally pick him up and he's still in the same position. You just like move him around. We got to weigh him now. We got to take shots and he'll just like grimace the whole time. And then we get in the car and he's just like fuck you so hard. Days later, still not talking to us.
I thought the lady was after the screaming episode, the veterinarian. She's like, "Oh, I've seen worse cats," and I was like, "Have you really?" She's like, "Well, no, not as loud." I was like, "You don't have to sugarcoat this. I've been around cats my whole life. I know that was not normal."
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So anyway, they're fine. They're around here. Usually,
I just saw a tail behind you, so
yeah, we
yeah.
saw. Yeah,
yeah, fucking. I have the cat likes to sit on my record player, and it's got three legs on it to help with the
Uh-huh.
balance. And he always sits in the corner that goes clunk 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 clunk. I'm like, fucking. It's like that cat. That is worth more than your life, sir. Get off that.
Oh, I love
Anyway,
cats.
that was my big excitement this week. So.
Well, you also went to Big Slick.
Oh yeah, I forgot we did go to Big Slick. That was fun. Actually, there was like
Was it
31 people there, like stars. 34
the
people.
celebrities there? That was a lot
It was
of
a lot.
people. Yeah.
It was. No, it was fun. It was a guy who, well, our best man or best maid of honor at our wedding. You guys met
Oh,
him.
no way.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, his company does work with them, so he had extra tickets, and so we went, and that was fun. I mean, beers were $17.98 a piece, but
Oof.
Ooh.
yeah,
Where was this at?
at T-Mobile Center, and
Oh
so
my God.
yeah, so like it was like but um,
Thanks for that penny back, T-Mobile Center. What the
I know.
1798? Wow.
I was like, did you raise the prices because you basically probably gave away the night for charity? That's the only thing I could think of because I don't think anybody would normally pay that much money for a beer. Maybe they would. I don't know. But that
I
was cool.
would if push came to shove. I fucking would.
Yeah.
It, worst, the nicest thing was they had a whole bunch of comedians. They did a live version of Hot Ones, which I told you guys about. They had
Hmm.
Chris there, the host, and it was everybody. It was like 7 people from Saturday Night Live, and then like the 7 people that are always from Kansas City, like Paul Rudd and
Oh.
Sudeikis and all those guys. And then,
Yeah.
but my favorite part was I was able to check off 2 things off my bucket list. I got to see Jeff Ross do 10 minutes of stand up,
Nice.
and he did roast. He brought people up from the audience and roasted them on stage. That was pretty cool.
That is amazing. I'm
That's
jealous
very
about
cool.
that.
I
Very
saw
cool.
Kumal Nanjiani did 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was really
Yeah.
good. And Fortune Freemister, I can never remember how to
Yeah.
pronounce her name.
Feemster. Hmm.
Yeah, she did 10 minutes and she was good too. But and there were skits, and it was fun. There was a lot of famous people there. They were auctioning off stuff live. And one of the
Okay.
coolest things that I thought was cool is they were auctioning off footballs signed by Mahomes and Kelsey, who were both there. So people were giving $15,000 for the signed and so Mahomes
Wow.
Kelsey was in the audience running back and forth, and Mahomes was just tossing him from the stage and catching the ball.
No
And
way.
yeah, it was nuts. I got
Oh,
some
that's
video of it.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And the weirdest one I thought was very strange was if you somebody won this for like 40 grand. It was as soon as the show was over that night, you and a friend went to the airport and flew back to somewhere, New York, I think, with
Okay.
Jason Sudeikis and his friend, whoever was with him. And then the next night, you would go to an Indiana, the WNBA Indiana team with Caitlin Clark. You would go
Ah,
to see them courtside in New York with them. And then Heidi Gardner offered a behind the scenes tour of SNL, and those went
Wow.
yeah, those went for $40 each. I think 6 or 5 tables bought them. So they made like $4.1 billion. That's wrong. $4.1 million that night just doing the thing. So
wow.
That's amazing.
that
That's
was
really cool.
it was cool. Somebody bid $225,000 for this huge NFL back, like right out with Mahomes and do all this stuff, and it was just like like it was but that's a lot of money. Those
That is a ton of money.
are, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was fun,
That is a house. Oh
and
my,
to be a
well, not really anymore, but some places
down payment
maybe.
for a house.
Yeah, down payment.
But it was the other thing that was kind of neat was the ticket price dropped this year. So I mean, even though we got them for free, they were only $30 since they moved them to
Oh,
the Sprint
wow.
Center. So
Yeah.
yeah, and we were way in the back, but it didn't matter.
Your seats still look good.
No,
I
they were
mean, from
they
the pictures and video, you could still see a lot. Like,
yeah. I mean, I
look
couldn't.
fine.
Yeah, I was happy. I mean, they had blocked off the top level of the T-Mobile, and I've never been in there
Mhm.
before, so
I
we
haven't
were at the
either.
back, but we still weren't that far. Like I would say we were mid tier. Uh, on a normal night. Where Eddie Van Halen, the ghost of Eddie Van Halen, plays a reunion show or whatever. Whatever. Anyway,
Ah,
that was fun. I'm glad you remembered that. I forgot. I forgot I
it's
did
my
that.
job to
Thank
remember all the cool stuff my friends are doing, and I'm not.
you.
I have PTSD from fucking cicadas. Tyson's like, "Oh, we got free tickets to Big Slick." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Awesome. Good for you."
Yeah, that picture of the tire with the cicadas. Ugh, you sent
Potato. Yeah.
that
No,
was gross.
that was my brother's tire one morning, which was fun to see. I will be posting some pictures so everyone else can enjoy. Smith, what have you been up to?
Not a lot. We've been up to a lot. So we have like the first like kind of quiet weekend we've had in a long time because we're like winding up going to a ton of shows this year. I don't know if it's just because everybody seems to be on tour that we want to see, but no, it's just weird. So we had like 2 quiet weekends in a row, and summer's gone. Like it's just that's just the way it happens. So no, we just kind of got back to work, and I don't have anything. No Mahomes, nothing exciting. No
No
football.
throwing
No
footballs
charity
to.
auctions. Nothing.
All right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wait,
Unless I'm
so
forgetting.
I want to know, with all the shows that you have lined up, what show are you most excited about?
Okay, so this actually just materialized, I don't know, a few days ago, but one of my all-time favorite bands, Haircut 100, which I don't know if you guys will remember, they had a minor hit in '83 with, well, they had two hits, but what's the one? Love Plus One was kind of their big single. And anyway, so they are touring for the first time since that album came out.
Wow.
So they are touring with ABC, I think. And I didn't even look at the rest of the bill. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So that one, I mean, it was like a couple other bands that I wanted to see.
You've gone on the record saying that Haircut 100 album is your favorite album. I mean,
it was, yeah. Pelican West is
okay.
Still probably top 10. I haven't done an honest soul searching. Like I need to do that. Just like one of my 10 favorite, because they change. I mean, I've gone from, for a while there, a Pop Will Eat Itself record was my favorite album of all time. So you progress as a human. You listen to new stuff, and it's definitely still up there though. Definitely end to end, probably one of my favorite albums. I'm impressed you remembered that. Thank you. That means something that you would.
Buddies.
But I'm really looking forward to that show. And then, oh my God, there's just so many other. De La Soul, obviously, with the two of you coming July. It's happening. Yay! It's happening.
Can't wait.
We may have to do a remote podcast for the fans while we're all together.
We should totally do that. Yeah. We gotta figure out how to make that work, unlike the last.
That's true. Yeah, we just need to go to separate bedrooms and pretend like we're not together, and then I think it'll work just.
Yeah.
It's the togetherness that fucks stuff up.
Yeah, it is. The novelty of it is.
That's what ended my parents' marriage. So yeah, it's true.
The podcast. I'm so sorry.
No, togetherness, Tyson. Togetherness.
It's a good
maybe the podcast too. It wasn't.
How many marriages can we end? That's the.
I mean,
let's find out. Yeah.
Even Jim Henson got divorced. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Wow, I think it happened to Jim Henson.
I know. He had 5 kids and he still got divorced. Yeah.
Oof.
I'll talk about that during plugs anyway. But
shit! Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah, we watched it last night.
Oh God. Okay. I want to watch it. Yay. All right. Well, shall we get to headlines?
Yes.
Perhaps? Okay.
Saunter into headlines.
Action News 6. This is Chuck Waverly.
I can't wait to record that with you guys and debut it. It's going to be great.
So this is from NewJersey.com or NJ.com.
Oh, God.
Drunk and belligerent rock star waves gun during unruly interview. I'm going to... You guys want to...
Can we guess?
Yeah, go guess.
Can I guess? Ted Nugent would be my first guess.
That's a good guess.
That's close.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock. It was Kid Rock.
Oh, Kid Rock. It was the other one. Yes.
Yeah. The other one. That's right. The other one from Michigan up there.
Yeah. Kid Rock is always packing when he has an interview.
This is
music publication.
Well, what a fucking doucher.
This interview is going to be published in Rolling Stone because it was with the polarizing rock rap star being loosely attributed to this. Kid Rock most recently lashed out in an interview. An interviewer, Rolling Stone said, the artist born Bob Ritchie, Kid Rock. Bob Ritchie, 53, reportedly went on an alcohol-induced tirade before using racial slurs and brandishing a firearm, according to an extensive new interview with the singer published by Rolling Stone Tuesday. I need to read that article. He said the interviewer attributed the musician's downing of 3 to 4 Jim Beams and Diet Coke cocktails in short time span to his drunkiness.
I like that drunkiness.
I like that.
That's cute.
It's like a nice drunk. Drunkiness.
Yeah, drunkiness. It says drunkenness,
Drunk.
but you know what I
Adorable.
meant.
Yeah.
He's sitting in a dark leather chair, shouting at me about something or other. When he reaches behind his seat, pulls out a black handgun and waves it around to make some sort of point. He recalled Brock shouting, "And I got a fucking gun right here if I need it. I got them everywhere." And yeah. So then he went on to talk about he was best friends with Trump was his bestie. You think I like Trump because he's a nice guy? I'm not electing the deacon of a church. That motherfucker likes to win. He likes to cheat in his fucking golf game. I want that guy on my team. I want that guy who goes, "I'm going to fight with you." And then he tried to call somebody else, and who wouldn't answer the phone. And then I assume he passed out. Um, he called one of his guys. Yeah. Anyway, he called one of his friends, somebody named Trick Trick.
uh,
Trick, the hardest hitting inward in Detroit. So anyway, so we should all look for that article.
Yeah, that's
Um,
going to be a
yeah,
fun read.
that really is.
this is along the same lines. I don't know if you saw this. This is from Entertainment Weekly. Richard Dreyfuss causes theater walkout with repeatedly
Oh,
misogynistic
I did
comments
see
at
this.
Jaws
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw
screening.
that.
Yeah.
Uh, they,
Oof.
yeah, he came out wearing a dress and was dancing around. Um,
What?
yeah, like he came out. Let's see, if we can find the duh, 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 duh. Customers. Well, they released a statement saying the views by Richard Dreyfuss is not the organization or the theater. They apologize. Basically, okay, a video allegedly taken at the event show. So he's there to talk about Jaws, right?
Yeah.
The veteran actor coming out on stage wearing a dress over pants and a shirt. Before removing the dress, he dances around as Taylor Swift's song "Love Story" plays, and the crowd laughs, claps, and whistles. And then he started on his bullshit about you know women and transsexuals and blah blah blah. So they interviewed somebody and they're like, "I don't know why I came. I know how he's like." I was like, like
Yeah.
so a bunch of people walked out, which was I probably would have too, to be honest with you. This is a little local flavor from the Kansas City Star. Announcer caught
Ooh.
ogling soccer moms on a hot mic during Kansas high school tournament.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, good God.
Here's this exact. What do you say? Yeah, he basically is like, "Well, this game sucks, but a bonus though is of calling a high school soccer game girls soccer for high school the soccer moms." And then his co-host was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then he was like, and then he goes, "The one that's facing us, see if she can tear it off. See if she can tear it off. I can't see the legs, but I can feel the behind from here. This conversation never meant to happen, by the way. We'd get in trouble." And they did get in trouble. Fucking idiots.
Morons.
Uh,
if they'd only had a giant microphone sitting in front of them, that would have clued them in. But, yeah,
Now, I
but
don't.
no.
Yeah, I know. We shouldn't talk about this. Yeah, no shit. I mean, somebody's listening.
Right.
Uh, let's see. This is from Rolling Stone. This explains a lot. I'm not going to really get into it. I'm just going to read the headline. The Offspring helped Ed Sheeran fulfill childhood dream. Surprise Bottle Rock Fest appearance. I used to pretend to be in their band in the mirror and sing along to the album when I was 9. So it was the happiest moment in his rock and roll career. He got to play with the Offspring. All right, that's fine.
We all have dreams,
We do.
Yeah.
This is from mlive.com. Singer of iconic rock hit dies at 78. I only show the guy. It's the guy from Iron Butterfly who wrote Inagata Davida.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh.
Anyway, so that song is famous for a couple of reasons. One, it's really long. It's also famous in the radio industry as the song you play when you want to go outside and have a cigarette, and and you don't need to be disturbed. And that is not a joke. That is basically
Really?
it's basically taught at college. And
Huh.
Good college.
so anyway, so I saw this guy perform once at the Ellis County Fair on one of those rock and roll '60s rock and roll group tours, where they Like
No way.
Yeah, like Mickey Dolenz was there, and
Cool.
this guy Hannibal from Hannibal and the Headhunters, who wrote Land of a Thousand Dances, who I made feel really bad. I didn't mean to. But anyway, this guy got up and he's the only guy from Iron Butterfly was there, and he sings 3 verses, so he's 15 minutes into the song, and the band breaks down, and they do one of those breakdown things where he gets to talk to the audience. He's like, "Now, something a lot of people don't know about me in this song is that there's a 4th additional verse." And then he went on to sing it. So the song went from 17 to like 26 minutes. I was like, "What is happening?" So anyway, I'll never forget the day that I learned there was an extra verse. And apparently, I didn't know that until I read this thing. Is he was so drunk. He was like, "I got an idea for a song. Write this down." He's like, "In a Garden of Eden," and what he said was "in the Garden of Eden," but the guy couldn't understand him because he was also drunk. So he wrote down "in a Garden de Vida," and then
No way.
that's the
I
story.
never knew that.
I
That is great.
didn't either. I don't know how. Yeah.
Brilliant. Through lots of drinking. That's fantastic.
It worked. Whatever he was
It
drinking.
worked. Yeah, it
It
definitely
works.
worked.
This is like probably my favorite. This is my second favorite. People magazine. Donald Trump is banned from 37 countries as a convicted felon,
Yay.
including Canada and the UK. That's so hilarious. If he has to get permission from countries if he becomes president again, which might very well happen. He's gonna have to get a letter of permit. I guess he just won't go. I'm sure he won't go.
No,
Yeah.
he won't.
Yeah. And I did see a headline today, although I didn't take it down, is that because he's a convicted felon in New York, they're going to take away his uh, conceal and carry license that apparently he has in New York. Um, so I can't imagine him walking around with a gun. I think he
I
would,
can't either.
No.
but apparently he
No.
has the license to do it. So
No. I see that man like pulling out a sandwich, but not a gun. Like I
yeah,
just
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, I don't
yeah. Watch out for the
Like a
ketchup bottles.
2-day-old hamburger from McDonald's. He's
Yeah,
like,
yes.
oh, extra ketchup? Great.
yeah, throw ketchup bottles. That would be more likely. And this is the last one and my favorite. Popular mechanics. For the first time ever, the colossal squid might have shown its secret face. And if
Ooh.
you look up popular mechanics colossal squid, you'll find an article about this group of a nonprofit ocean research team named Colossus with a K may have finally spotted a juvenile colossal squid as it traversed the waters around Antarctica, which is where they live. If true, this would be the first video of its kind. And I watched the whole video, and there it is, just a little guy. And so pretty cool. I mean, it would have been
Did
cool
it
to.
warm your heart and your soul, Tice?
It did, but everything else on the ocean floor is fucking disgusting and scary. Like they have these things called
Not a fan.
Death Stars, and this guy couldn't have been more happy. Like if you look this up, there's a video that's like 5 minutes long, and he's just like giving a guided tour of the floor of the ocean, and he's like, "See that? That's never been seen before. That Death Star is eating a fish. We knew that they ate fish, but we've never seen it on camera before." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." I mean, I guess I would get excited too, to be fair, but anyway. So with that in mind, and maybe the colossal squid having finally shown up, even if it's just a little baby squid, I say, Matt, you're next.
I don't really know how to follow
Way
that.
to pass the
I
baton.
want to stop it
Jesus.
right now. Wow, honored and privileged. Yes. Oh, hope I don't disappoint. Okay, so I'm going to play a little news headline roulette. Let's see what lands on. Oh, yes. So this one little nugget from Kansas. I always like to pay attention to what's going on in Kansas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, which just has a giant picture of Chris Kobach, which is just perfect. Anyway, Kansas Constitution
Lovely.
does not include a right to vote, says Supreme Court majority. So basically, the gist of this story is that there were a voter rights group sued the state of Kansas because they're trying to do this thing where they match signatures on ballots to basically verify that a person. And anyway, instead of addressing the signature issue, they said it was invalid because the Kansas Constitution does not ensure citizens the right to vote. Like, period. They just don't have the right to vote in the Kansas Constitution. And so you can't challenge anything Anyway, it's just another glorious step for Kansas.
Ugh,
I don't know. It's kind of par
puke.
for the course, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. But anyway, God, Chris Kovac, you fucking douchebag. Alleged douchebag. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one, next one. The Black Keys cancels 30
Oh
plus.
yeah.
So this is kind of funny because I don't like the Black Keys at all. At all. Like I can't
You
stand them.
really don't? I don't think I knew this.
Oh, I can't stand them. No, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But I get people that do. That's fine. But it turns out there's a lot more people like me than there are people that like the Black Keys, because what they did was they set up these huge arena tours, and tickets were like $80 to $150 a pop, and they just didn't scale. Like it just was like they tried to price this out like, I don't know, like a bigger act like U2 or something, and people just weren't having it. And so they canceled. They gave a rather interesting excuse. They said, we've decided to make some changes in our North American leg of this international players tour, which is kind of funny now that you think about it. That will enable us to offer a similarly exciting, intimate experience, both fans and the band. So I think they too acknowledged that, yeah, these places were way too, the audience didn't exist. And there were photos of like right before a couple of days before the people were posting of all the unfilled seats, and it was like maybe 5-10% sold. Like,
Oh wow.
anyway,
Oh my God. Wow.
yeah. So anyway, not really. Actually, I do mean to throw some shade their way because I think they're overrated and suck. But that's the only reason I brought it. Also, I don't have a specific headline, but I'm sure Black Keys fans are also disappointed to hear that J-Lo has canceled her.
I was just gonna say she has done the same thing, but she's blaming it on her marital standing, right, with
She is.
Benny.
It's not the
Yeah,
ticket sale.
she's saying family issues, but I think we all know what that means. That's big.
I'll be right
Okay, sure. No, but, we'll talk about J-Lo while Tyson's away.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that
that wasn't a headline, but it was a headline this past week where Ben Affleck came out and said, "What did he say, Smith? It was like a fever dream, and he's waking up from it, marrying her or some shit."
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a very accurate description. Like, I don't know what it is, what her ability is to draw him back in, but like it's unhealthy, Ben. I think you deserve better. I always have. As Kathy reminded me, he left Jennifer Garner for her, which is really, really
And
sad.
she's great. Like she's like a really
I
good
know.
mom and a
I
good
know. She's a
person.
different person, I know. And her booty just wasn't quite good enough, and Ben just had to throw out the whole thing. Threw out the booty with the bathwater.
He's like, wait, Jennifer, you will not go on a yacht with me, and I can't touch your butt in front of the paparazzi. Be gone.
Be gone with you. So anyway, we will not be enjoying I don't even know what I think I like vaguely remember one song she sang from like, I don't know, the early 2000s.
Jenny from the Block. That's the only one I know.
That would be it. Jenny from the Block.
She used to have a little. Now she has a lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking profound.
We should go to like an open mic night and just do J-Lo songs. Just
J-Lo songs
open.
in absentia. We will fill in for J-Lo at the Horseshoe Wednesday karaoke. Yes. I want to go back to karaoke at the Horseshoe sometime. That was those were good memories.
Yeah. Good blurry memories.
Starstruck dreamers, just wailing.
Amazing.
This was Tyson already kind of touched on the bigger issue. This was kind of my segue into the big news. MAGA prophet explains predicting not guilty verdict for Donald Trump. A MAGA prophet, which is like
Baron?
Good thing to have on your CV, I think. Anyway, God told her that he would be convicted. God was wrong, I guess. So it's not so much that God didn't talk to her; it was that God had it wrong.
Wrong.
So yeah, kind of bad on you, God. But anyway, no, that was kind of the biggest news sort of conundrum of the week was that Donald Trump with 34 felonies. Was that what it was?
34. Yeah.
34, and I think sentencing is like July 17th or something like that, where we will find out if, God, I hope that judge sends him to jail. I hope we all.
How amazing would that be? People keep
That would
bringing up
be,
Martha Stewart having to go to jail, and what
yeah.
she had like 4 felonies. Come on, please, big
Yeah,
money, no whammies.
no, and apparently, like he's eligible for up to eligible, like he won something. I'm sure in his eyes that's the way he looks at it. I've gotten more felonies in one day than anyone. But I guess it could be up to 4 years per count, but more than likely, if he is sentenced, it would, which is a lot of time. Probably longer than he's got, God willing. But it looks like if he were, but it would more than likely they would run concurrently. So it'd be a total of 4 years. But I do like the 4-year thing. I think that makes a nice little matchup for the. So I hope that judge does the right thing, and he would be an American hero to 49% of the population, and a target for the other 51%. So we'll see.
What is he? So like, I just saw just to talk about that for just a second. So I saw that they pushed past the Georgia election. They just postponed that. They postponed the documents thing, and with none of it's going to happen. This is the only thing that's going to happen.
No, none of it's going to happen. No, the appeal. So the issue with the Georgia documents case was that the DA, Fannie Willis, who has one of the most important fucking jobs in the world right now, had an affair with one of the prosecutors, which really isn't the Senate's getting caught for it by Trump's lawyers. So she royally screwed that entire situation up. It was probably not, if not the strongest case, the most important case. And
for sure,
we talked about it before. Like, even though it is a state of Georgia case, if that guy gets elected president, that shit's not happening. I'm sorry, he's not going. I mean, that's not happening. I mean, it'll cause a constitutional crisis, but what won't when he's reelected? So anyway, and then in the documents case, Judge Eileen
Cooper.
Eileen Cannon, is that right?
Oh yeah,
Cannon. I don't want to disperse. It basically made another ruling in his favor. Basically, they decimated that case, and it's not going to happen. It got pushed back further, and I blame Merrick Garland, because they could have tried this in D.C. and instead, for some idiotic reason, probably to look like they were fair, decided to try it in Florida. Good on you, Democrats! Way to go! So yeah, so both those cases. So when I say that, like, this dude, if he sends Trump to jail for 4 years, he is the only thing standing in the way of a general election, and I have very little faith in the general election at this point. So,
same.
We'll get the happier news. I've got a couple pick-me-up stories.
Hey.
I like this one especially. This one came across today. Remote Amazon tribe finally connects to internet, only to wind up hooked on porn and social media.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So thanks, Elon. So apparently, Elon Musk has this thing called Skylink, which is this insane array of satellites. Have you guys seen it in the sky?
Yeah, I have a couple times.
Crazy. Like, he's just, the U.S. government has just allowed Elon to spew whatever he wants into the outer atmosphere for the last few years. With it's really a travesty. But this thing has offered a lot of remote locations internet access for the first time, and that infrastructure. Well, I did say that there were some good things. Let me find the quote. This was the quote. It's like, there were some things and how it saved lives and blah, blah, blah. But now things have gotten worse. Young people have gotten lazy because of the internet. They're learning the ways of the white people. And yes, they are. They're learning the ways of the white people. So apparently they're like not talking to their families and just spend their entire day on the phone. But there was another quote further down, I'll paraphrase, but basically he said, well, they have to work some, because if you don't fish or hunt, you don't eat. So apparently they still have to do some stuff. No DoorDash yet. They haven't offered the DoorDash yet, but anyway, I thought that was amusing. And so my final story, I have an audio clip for.
Oh wow!
Ooh, lovely.
I do not have my technical prowess. I'm not sure how to mix stuff. So I want to do highly technical. I'm going to play a sound on one computer and hope the other computer hears it. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right, hold on.
Tech Time with Matt Smith.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard it.
Okay, what is
I
it?
heard you remember that sound.
Yes.
You do know that sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after a very long time, it was how many years? 28 years of operation. ICQ is going away on June 26th.
Oh,
And that is
I
where
thought it had already
from.
gone away.
Yeah, no, so did most people. I think it's like a celebrity death when you're like, holy shit, Abe Vigoda just died. uh, but no, I had no idea it was still around either. But ICQ was one of the very first instant messaging clients that was available, and like that sound like became synonymous with like you've got a message. It was almost like the Yahoo Messenger had its little Yahoo. Like so. Anyway, sad to see you go, ICQ, but it really was like pretty innovative for the time. And it's actually funny. I read the story, unlike the rest of the headlines, and it basically just went on to talk about how they just created an internal tool because they could never get a hold of each other on the phone. And I'd forgotten this, but you actually didn't have usernames. You had a number. You had a phone number on ICQ. Where you would just add to your contacts. So anyway, ICQ, if you want to get another 3 weeks out of it, it goes away on June 26th. I have some old friends on there. I'm actually curious to see if I log back in and see.
Oh, wow. I should do the same thing.
I don't even know if I have that email address anymore, but it's been a long time.
Couldn't you use ICQ as an early torrent system, like where you could transfer files?
I think so. I conflated the same thing, and I think that was IRC.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which was like a internet relay chat, which was also a bigger, but around basically at the same time. And I think, but it was pretty complicated. And I think like IRC had like channels and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think this one was the first like person to person messenger, and I think it really got eclipsed by Yahoo chat, and then AOL chat was also really big. So it was big for like a couple of years, which was big for a hot minute back in the late 90s. But
I was sure it was going. Anyway, I hadn't thought about it in 30 years, 20 years.
I hadn't thought about it in a long time either. And so anyway, apparently no one has, and so that's why they're going away.
There's some diehards out there. There's like 10 of them left.
It all lasted. So anyway, that's my headlines.
All right, very nice.
Very good. Very nice.
No, not nearly the handoff that Tyson does, but Dawson, if you'd like to inform us on some local or national or worldwide news for that matter, feel free.
Thanks, Smith. Happy to. Oh my God, hilarious. Okay, so I have a couple. The first one, and reason why I'm drinking Dr. Pepper is because Dr. Pepper just passed Pepsi as the second biggest soda brand in the world, in the US. But yeah, Coke is still number one. Big shocker. But Dr. Pepper has finally beaten Pepsi, which I have been saying for years. Dr. Pepper is far superior to Pepsi, and gotten in literal fights with my family members about it. And now I can say I am right. Thank you, 23 flavors. You've done it again. Yeah, very happy about that. It's stupid. There's a little article on CNN talking about it. It's fine. Whatever. I love Dr. Pepper. I love Dr. Pepper, the original, not like vanilla Dr. Pepper, strawberry Dr. Pepper, or whatever the fuck else is out there. Just regular old school Dr. Pepper. The best. Not diet, just regular. That's the best soda on the block. Sorry.
Now, I have a question.
I know Tyson has a thing with Diet Pepsi, and I'm ready to fight.
All right, well,
do they have like other brands? Like what else does Dr. Pepper sell? Like because like Pepsi, there's like a billion varieties of Pepsi. And like Mountain Dew.
Is 7-Up bundled in with that Dr. Pepper thing?
I think 7-Up. Yeah,
that's probably right.
There's a few.
Maybe RC Cola. No, that was Diet Right and RC Cola were kind of linked in together. But I don't think
Diet Right was the best diet soda.
Oh,
it was addictive.
I love Diet Right. It was good. It's because it used that saccharin. That's everybody else bailed on saccharin. They're like, nah. No science for us. Delicious. It was good.
I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna I can't. I mean, my crippling addiction to Diet Pepsi is, the next thing off my list of things to stop doing to my body. But I can't make a case that it's better than any other soda. I mean, it is addictive, but there's no
It
sugar.
is.
In theory, there's no sugar in it. In theory, I go through so much. I went
How
to the
much do you drink a day?
too much. I went to the doctor's
Yeah?
office with a full 2 liter this morning because I was going to be there for 2 hours and I drank half of it. so, so
You actually were in the doctor's office
I
with
was in
a
the doctor's
2 liter of
office
soda.
and I was refilling my soda. I was like, stay cold, please.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a problem, and I can't begrudge anybody for anything. But probably a 1 a day, 1.5 a day, probably.
Okay. That's about what I feel like a lot of people drink that. That's actually a substitute with a lot of other friends for coffee in the morning.
Yeah, I don't.
They'll have like a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi instead of a cup of coffee, whatever, because they just can't
I
stand
can't.
the taste of it.
Well, I just can't do hot liquid, so that's just my thing. So yeah,
That's
I
right.
remember when they
Oh my God, that's right. I
McDonald's.
totally forgot about that.
I don't know if you guys remember this. In the 90s, I'm going to say, maybe earlier than that, they introduced the idea of having Coke with breakfast at McDonald's. It was a novel idea. People were like, "What? Soda with breakfast?" And like that's just the norm now. It's like crazy. But
That's true.
Yeah.
Anytime's a good time for soda, I like to say.
especially at the doctor's office.
Especially in the doctor's office. I like it. You just bought a 2 liter of Diet, like just poking your
It's
doctor in
amazing.
the eye, like, I'm going to be here for a while, so light up. Like it.
That's the life. That is the life. Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Wait, Smith, what soda do you drink a lot of? What's your jam?
Oh, embarrassingly, my jam is a Mountain Dew Zero. That's
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Coke, Diet Coke, or Coke. Correct me. Coke Zero is probably my second favorite, with the Pepsi Max or Zero kind of in third place, I'd say.
Oh, I tried that last time I was in Missouri, and that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. I will tell you what, I used to love Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, like in middle school and high school, was my absolutely favorite soda. But then, pre-internet, this is the kind of stuff that happened, kids, so pay attention. Because I heard a rumor that it had prune juice in it. And for some reason, that made me think it was gross. Like, because I loved like the Dr. Pepper
Yeah.
snowballs. Like, that was the best. Like, that
Yeah,
was
totally.
And I think like after like somebody mentioned that, it was like a very similar thing happened with Rolling Rock when somebody mentioned that it tasted like hot dog water. Is when you make that connection in your head and you just can't get rid of it. You just can't.
Uh-huh.
So I fell out of favor with Dr. Pepper. I revisit it occasionally. I need to have a regular Dr. Pepper. I haven't had a regular Dr. Pepper in quite some time, so I need to treat myself, I think.
Oh, well, may I suggest getting these little cans, these little 7.5-ounce cans?
Wow.
I limit myself to one a week. Yeah, they're glorious.
The miracle of television, that looks like a full-size can.
It does. Yeah, I thought it was.
Boom. Yeah, it does
no
look
idea.
big. But it's so tiny in comparison to
there we go.
like a regular size can.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, but I know, Matt, you dabble in exotic sodas, kind of like.
Dabble.
Yeah.
So I will say, on our most recent trip to Tennessee, they had a local citrus beverage called Ski, SKI, somewhere in Tennessee. And apparently it's like the Double Cola, I think was the name of the company, the parent company. And so there's Double Cola, and they had Ski. And it was like Mountain Dew with like a little more emphasis on the grapefruit flavor. So I wasn't a huge fan, but I was like just the novelty factor of where the hell did this come from, and knew it was kind of like brewed by like the locals. Like I was like, I gotta taste what they're drinking down here in Tennessee. And so it wasn't bad. And then I also am a big fan of I always call it Jarritos or Jarritos. Like it's spelled Jarritos, but I think it's Jarritos because I don't think.
Yeah.
In Spanish, it's the flavored, like, and the lime Jarritos I'm a huge fan of. It's just pure cane sugar and fake lime stuff.
Lots of sugar. That's a thing at like every taco stand that you go to in Austin. You'll have that option.
They remind me a little bit of like a carbonated version of like, remember those like I don't think they make them anymore because I think it's considered child abuse now. But they used to have like those little like cups of like they're basically like pre-made Kool-Aid that had like the pull-off lid. They were like 4 ounce. They were almost like pudding cups, but they were drinks, and you could buy
Oh
like
God,
20.
yes.
Yeah,
And
you
they
could buy
look
like
like little
20.
grenades almost.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
exactly. You used to be able to like buy like 24 of them for like $1. Like it was absolutely the
Oh
cheapest thing you could
yeah.
spend in your kid's lunchbox. And I don't remember what those were called, but those
I
it's
don't
very
either.
yeah. We got
Friends
in
of the
our
podcast,
researches. Yes,
tell
right
us.
in. We've got a
Yeah.
guys a case of
Oh my
whatever the hell
God.
that is. If it's legally,
That was my favorite part about like softball in the summer because somebody would sure as shit bring those. And then all of the kids would go on this sugar fucking high, running around and then crash
yeah.
hard. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
And I can still taste them. Like, oh my god,
Oh
it was
yeah.
it was like
The
double, like
red one
double power. Like,
especially. Oh
yeah.
God.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about the grenade shape. Though you're right, it did. They just had that pull off. Like there was
Yeah,
no
it was
money.
like a grenade. It literally you pull it off and
Yes,
then
it
you just
literally
chug the
was.
shit.
It was, yeah. It was basically like those pop, like the Lick'em Pops, like the freezer pops. I think it was the same stuff. Like I
Yeah.
think it was that same stuff, just more of it.
Push-up
So if you
pops.
didn't,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
I am
So,
having a crazy walk down memory lane right now.
whew, I know sugar.
Tice, did you like do any of that stuff? Any of that crazy? Do you remember
No, I
any of
mean,
that stuff?
I think a couple times my parents got me Capri Suns. That's the only thing I can think of that would be similar. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I can tell you that my uncle, my dad's brother, who's notoriously cheap, he's a farmer his whole life. Um, he bought 6 cases of Diet Cherry Cola Slice, um,
Ooh,
Ooh,
and
that sounds
it
good.
was awful.
that does sound good.
Everybody hated it, and so they wouldn't drink it. But I didn't have it. But I wanted soda, and by the end of that 6 cases, the end of summer, I was addicted to it pretty hardcore. And you
I
couldn't find it because
bet.
it was it was decommissioned or like a ship. They put it out to sea or whatever.
Yeah,
Like no, so that's the only one I think I was just like I don't know what was going on there, but it's anything you just get addicted to something because you just have it all the time, you know.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So luckily, I had a producer available, and he's anxious for work,
Lucky.
and
Mine's been
he
on
actually did
vacation for
a
months.
little bit of research, and they were actually not grenades; they were supposed to be little barrels, and they were called Hug fruit
Oh,
barrels.
What were they
They were
called?
little barrels, but you're right; they did Hug was the name. Hug, like you love your children, but you're doing the
I
opposite.
don't
Fruit
remember that
barrels.
shit at all.
Hug
Yeah,
barrels.
and it was that's wow.
I think they look like grenades more than barrels, but
They
I
do
get
look
it.
like grenades. Yes, they did. Yeah, no, that's all right. So your mind will play tricks
Because we
on
would
you.
literally that was the thing we'd do is my brother and I being idiots. We'd like rip off the top, fucking chug it, like those people in the
Pull the
movies
pin.
pull the pin out and then slam it down or throw it at one of our
Oh
friends.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it was
yeah.
fun.
The Mickeys. They also referred to Mickeys as the grenades, as I remember. They meant
Oh
Mickey's malt
yeah.
liquor. Yeah, the little
Oof.
grenades. Yeah. Great news. They are still available. You
No
can
way.
go
At
to
Walmart,
the.
probably.
I'm actually up at Kroger. I'm sure Walmart has them. Have increased in price a little bit. Inflation's gotten basically everyone at this
For
point.
sugar water.
But yeah, but for sugar water, yeah, they are. You can
We may
still
have
buy
to
it.
get some, gentlemen,
Yeah.
I
in
think we're gonna have to do that.
Indianapolis. Yeah.
I think we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna have a hug fruit barrel
We should make a
party.
disgusting cocktail with it. An adult hug, whatever the fuck
Don't
it's called.
hug. Yeah, I will make that happen. With you.
Tice.
I
I'm
can't wait to
frankly
name that
excited. Yeah.
drink because there's so many great synonyms for adult hug. I mean, we could go anywhere. It was so fun. All right,
You
yeah.
know, you can just drink until we can no longer decipher the intended flavor.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
and you'll write down Inagata Davida because that's what you'll hear me say. Call it that, and then this will be
We could
27
write the
years from
best
now,
song
you'll be at a
ever.
county fair. Oh,
Yeah.
it's probably what happened. I think. Yeah, I like it.
With our stained tongues. It's gonna be great. Glorious, best idea. All right, I have a couple more. This one I'm not gonna go into detail about because it's just a rumor at this point. But apparently, Alec Baldwin and his wife are considering a TLC reality show, according to Consequence of Sound. talk amongst yourselves. I think it's a stupid idea. I realize I have like 7 or 8 kids, and that's kind of TLC's thing.
But did he lose?
And Alec Baldwin has to pay a lot in lawyer fees
Yeah,
now and coming up. But
that's the only thing I
Yeah.
could think of, because I mean I'm sure he gets royalties from his previous work, but
well,
he
yeah,
probably needs some money right now and would even consider it. I don't think
And
I would watch it.
I would watch if he's in prison. Like, I think the whole family,
Oh,
he's
Billy
dressed
is
up
in
like
prison.
Sunday, taking a ride down to San Quentin to see old pops. Like,
Uh,
that's a show I would watch.
that's
He can do his Trump impression, like,
that's I think that's more Discovery than TLC, but who knows? Maybe not.
that is true. That is much
yeah,
more
that's true.
Discovery
It's too hard. It's too hard hitting for the
It
Learning
is.
Channel.
Yeah.
It's too fact based for the Learning Channel.
Right.
All right, yeah, you must really need the money. Like, if that's a true,
Yeah.
like, why else would you do that to yourself? Like, I mean,
don't know.
I feel like more
Sounds
people need to
awful.
know who Alec Baldwin is. Like, everybody, he's like the successful
No.
Baldwin. Billy needs this shit. I don't know what, but yeah,
He's the good Baldwin. Sorry, Billy.
He's the good one.
Sorry, Billy.
Sorry, Billy.
Billy.
Sorry, Billy. Billy was in Young Guns, right? Was someone Billy in Young Guns?
Uh,
I don't know.
I don't know. Producer, wake up. Let's check this out. I'm curious.
Which or Young Guns 2 or the TV show? Yeah, there was a Young Guns TV show.
Was it really?
I think it was actually. Now I'm gonna retract that statement. I think it was like called. It was basically a ripoff of Young Guns called something slightly different, like Juvenile Firearms or something like that.
didn't they?
Oh, wow.
Didn't they have an all girls sequel type thing where it was the young lady guns? Or
I think that does. Ring something.
I think that happened at some point.
I don't know. I could be making.
Fun fact: I don't think I ever watched Young Guns. Now that I'm looking at the IMDb page,
It was. I had the wrong Baldwin. It was Stephen Baldwin.
Okay.
And
Stephen.
he, weirdly enough, was in the TV show, which was called The Young Writers. So it was
okay.
very close. Yes.
Oh,
yes, very close. So.
I can't say Bring Back Joel did cover a Young Guns song. Yeah.
Oh, you used to cover Blaze of Glory.
Oh, yeah. People loved it.
Oh, I've seen that performed live many times. It was a good cover. Like, it was a crowd favorite, too.
It's a good cover because you go wanted, and then you just shove your hand out there with a mic, and everybody goes, wanted! If we're playing that at that night, everybody's drunk. Not just the band, but everybody in the room. So
wasted. Yeah.
It's a good time.
Like I saw it several times.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Matt.
I love it. Steven's probably my second favorite Baldwin, only because of Biodome, which will literally lower your IQ after you watch it every time. It is so dumb. But he does this thing in it where he... yeah, with Pauly Shore. Like, what could go wrong? Everything about the movie. It's so stupid. But actually, my Tumblr handle, Making a Filter, was from Biodome. So, and it was from Stephen Baldwin's character, Making a Filter.
Wow.
Do you guys remember that part? Where he's got a cake pan and he's in the Biodome and he's picking up cigarette butts after they had that huge party. And Pauly Shore's character is like, what are you doing? He's like, making a filter. He's just putting the cigarette butts, lining them up in a cake pan. It's great. Dumb as shit.
We probably would understand Dawson 5% better if we watched that.
Yes,
you're probably true.
I think so. Yeah, that and a couple others I'll add to the list. You guys should watch them before I get there on Wednesday, so you can just shake your head slowly. Yeah.
We'll prepare.
Last and definitely least, just because I went through it, this is from the Kirksville Daily Express. Billions of cicadas bring buzzy magic to Missouri in 2024.
Yay.
Yes, buzzy magic was had in Missouri. It was insane because there were 13 and 17-year cicadas that came up from the ground literally the week before I got there. So they were in their second week. They were primed and ready to fuck and die and just be all over the place. I've never seen so many in my life. I should have taken a picture of the windshield from my rental car in Kansas City
Oh.
because I was like, oh my God, I need to clean this. It was bad. Just from the cicadas dive bombing the windshield constantly. Um, so many stories. But I think my favorite one was I'm in the Dairy Queen drive-through with my little sister, Katya, who she was already like used to the cicadas or whatever. And mind you, this is after I'd been in like the grocery store, the gas station, Walgreens with cicadas that would cling to my back and then scream when I go into the store. And then I'd have to pull them off and bring them outside because people looked at me funny when I threw one on the ground at the grocery store. So then I was like, oh, I got people care about these things. So anyway, I'm in the drive-through at Dairy Queen and I'm bitching about cicadas again. And Koch is like, "Oh my God, Jess, you have a complex. Like, you got to get over this. Like, it's just a thing now." But they're everywhere. I mean, you look at the wall behind the drive-through menu at Dairy Queen, and it's covered with cicadas. I'm like, I don't even want to roll down my window to place the order. She's like, just do it. I'll let you know if any of them are about to fly in. Bull fucking shit. My sister's an ass. So anyway, I roll down the window. I'm looking at the menu because I'm distracted. I want a little ice cream. Who doesn't? And I think a cicada flew in. My sister lies and says, no, there wasn't one that flew in. Like, all right, whatever. Roll up my window. Look at my left hip, and there's a cicada there, and it starts screaming, screaming. I lose my mind. I mean, 4-letter words are flying off the handle. My little sister, when we laugh really hard, we slap our knees. She's over there, no sounds coming out. She's slapping her knee. I am like at my wit's end. And I go, I literally blamed it on my mother, who is no longer with us. I was like, Mom, I know you're doing this. Enough is enough. And I take the bastard and I threw it at the menu at Dairy Queen. Meanwhile, there's a person behind me laughing their ass off. They're like, yeah, way to go. Fuck those things. I know they're good for the soil and everything, but I could give a shit less. Yeah. Cicadas are also an unplug this week. So there you have it. If you want to learn about them, just go on the interwebs and find all the buzzy articles. It's great. Great times.
The Buzzy Magic, they got good PR people, those cicadas.
Don't they?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cicadas.
Amazing headline. Great one. That is it. That is all.
Hey.
All right, you want to plug it?
Plug it.
Plug
Yeah,
it.
try to plug it.
You, the ice cream manufacturer. You, the frozen food distributor. And you, the food retailer. Stand today in the midst of a selling revolution. For today, you're in a merchandising era of self-service, where display and accessibility are the key to successful merchandising. Yes, today's problem is merchandising. To sell in high volume for high profits, frozen products are impulse items, and impulse buying is primarily an emotional decision.
I saw Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Ooh.
I saw it the Monday after it came out on Memorial Day. It was good. I saw it in the Dolby Theater for AMC, so like you could feel the engines of the motorcycles and all that kind of stuff. It was exactly what I was expecting. So it's just a sequel to just like his other movie. Maybe not quite as crazy, but along the same lines. Definitely worth watching. Definitely worth watching in the theater with good sound. And then we watched Jim Henson's Idea Man last night. That's on Disney Plus, and it's directed by Ron Howard, and it's as good as you think it would be. It's pretty interesting stuff. The guy was he did a lot of stuff. He was like always doing something. It's kind of impressive. We binged Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix, or no, Amazon Prime. Dead Boy Detectives is a spinoff. It's from a comic book of a spinoff of Sandman. So if you watch Sandman, there a couple characters showed up from that in this. Dead Boy Detectives was created by Neil Gaiman. It's a really easy watch. It's like 10 episodes. It's like a Buffy the Vampire kind of thing. Monster of the Week kind of thing.
Okay.
I liked it. I was ready for season 2 when it was done. Plus, it was all there. I didn't have to wait a week to see the next episode.
Right.
That was nice. We busted through Slow Horses in 3 days, all 3 seasons.
Oh shit. Okay.
That was really good. As good as I was expecting. It was a little more serious than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay.
What is that about, Tice?
It's about this office of MI5 people that are MI5 agents that fuck up real bad. They go to this office where they basically just do filing and run errands and shit, so they can't fuck up
Okay.
anything that's important. And Gary Oldman's the chief there, but it turns out like
Yeah.
he's actually was one of the bigwigs back in the day. Um, Kristen Scott, something or other. She's in it. Anyway, it's good. It's like a procedural. It's like a British version of, I would say, NCIS. So like pretty good. Not NCIS
Okay.
level probably. But to be fair, I've never watched an entire season of NCIS, so who knows. And then okay, so I been listening to this. This is the
Oh, lovely.
John Mulaney's Baby J. If you don't have it on vinyl, which makes sense, you should definitely go and watch it on Netflix. Right? That's it. One of my favorite records of all time was re-released. Triple Fast Action. You
Ooh.
Oh,
cannot.
nice.
You
Good
can't.
record.
Yeah, you can't find it on Spotify yet, but you can find it on Bandcamp. So I think it'll be there. I listened to this all day. The new Pedro the Lion record.
Ooh.
Here's some interesting things about this record, in my opinion, having been a fan of Bazan for many, many years. He doesn't play guitar on it. There's no bass guitar on it. It's just Moog keyboards that he's using to do the bass lines, as far as I can tell. There's no one credited with playing the bass. So
That sounds like that one album that they put out. I can't think of it. The
Headphones.
lion on
Headphones?
it. Yeah, headphones. Yeah.
It is and it isn't, because there's definitely guitar in the mixes there. It's a pretty somber affair, even for Pedro the Lion. But the second side really picks up, and the last 3 songs are all quite good. 2 of them are legit rockers,
Hell yeah.
So
I'm gonna
anyway,
listen to that.
Modesto and Spend Time, I was pretty impressed with both those. So anyway, it's a pretty good record. I'm sure it'll grow on me. They all do. Let's see, what's this? And finally, this Rosie Tucker, who has been on one of my playlists, and the name of the record is called Utopia Now, and it is fantastic. Probably the best record I heard all week.
Ooh.
It is. She, and I don't usually say this, but she is one of the things I really like about her is her lyrics. She's a really good lyric writer, aside from
Wow.
being a really good pop songwriter. And these are more like Mannequin Pussy than Cardinals, but anyway, definitely worth checking out. So, and it's funny because this record is actually you played at 45 speed, so it's a half cut master. But I didn't know that, so I played at 33 for a whole song. I was like, this sounds pretty weird, and then I was like, oh,
Whoops a day.
figured it out on the second song. I was like, oh, no wonder it sounds so weird. So anyway, those are my plugs. I don't really have any unplugs. Bugs, just in general, bugs, unplugged.
Just in general.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Solidarity.
Yeah, they're back. They're coming back. They've been away.
Matt?
Yes, I have a couple of plugs. My first might be a replug. I can't remember if Dawson mentioned this or not, but Butterfly in the Sky. Which
I haven't watched that yet. Oh my
okay,
god!
So it is just hit Netflix, I think, last Friday, and it is a documentary about Reading Rainbow and LeVar Burton, and it is a really if you guys are both you were similar enough in age that I think we were probably exposed to a lot of Reading Rainbow. I certainly remember watching it as a kid, and just a really good. Just like what a great dude, like what a just like amazing, like, and I think he wound up doing it for like 26 years or something, and then that bastard Newt Gingrich caused it to be over. So you'll get to that. It's a little sad at the end, but it went on for I think until like 2006, 2007, ran from like 80 something, 82 maybe to 2007. So it was on the air forever. Just one very memorable one of those classic PBS shows. Just really sweet documentary. Have you seen like Street Fight, which was the Sesame Street documentary? It's like good people doing things for children that are nice. That was the 80s.
He was right up there with Mr. Rogers for me as a kid.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The Mr. Rogers documentary is also excellent. Forgive me. I think Won't You Meet My Neighbor, I think is what that documentary called. That was also excellent. We thought it in theater, actually. And then a movie that I kind of walked into not knowing much about it. I'm going to give this a soft plug. Is the movie Monkey Man. Have either of you seen Monkey Man?
I watched the trailer a couple nights ago.
I almost went.
So it stars and actually was directed by, which I didn't realize until the movie was Dev Patel, which most people will probably remember from Slumdog Millionaire. He was the kid in Slumdog Millionaire, and he was also on the British excellent TV show called Skins. Which I don't know if either of you have seen that. They remade it in the U.S. It was awful, but it was a really, really good series. And he actually did a couple seasons of actually remade I'm forgetting the name of it. They filmed it in Orlando. The name's escaping. Another Channel 4 comedy. But anyway, it's probably the most violent movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's kind of a revenge. It's kind of a revenge fantasy, and he plays a boxer who's kind of like a street fighting kind of underground fight club sort of thing that wears a monkey mask, hence the Monkey Man. But the reason why I'd recommend it is obviously very well done. There's not it seems to be like it's trying to make itself a little more story intensive than it actually is, but the fight sequences are insanely good. I mean, easily the best I've ever seen. Just over the top, ridiculous fight sequences. But again, Kathy is not a fan of combat. It's if you're not into that physical violence, it's a tough watch because it is brutal. It is really brutal, but it's magnificently brutal. So check it out if you like action films. If you like like kung fu movies, if you like action sequences, it's quite good. Them is my plugs.
Yay.
Them's my plugs. All right. What do I have? I have a couple and then one unplug that isn't a cicada. So there you have it. Let's see. Watched The Fall Guy, which is a new movie available for rent, or I don't know if you can see it in the theater anymore. Guys, do you know, Tyson?
You can't hear.
You can? Okay.
In Kansas City. So.
I loved it. I thought it was super fun, very entertaining. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt star in it. It's all about a stuntman, and the craziness ensues when he's trying to win back the love of his life. And it's funny, and I liked it a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a stinker, and it wasn't. So I was wrong. The movie was right. You should definitely check it out.
I think it was done by the same folks that did Bullet Train, isn't that? I think that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Is it similar style?
Similar style across the board for sure. I don't know. I really like Ryan Gosling in comedies anymore. Like he's funny. I know everybody thinks he's just like a really like hot guy and all that stuff, but like I really like that he's going down this comedy path and not so much like the drama stuff anymore. So keep doing that, dude.
He can do anything. Like that man can do
anything.
He can.
Amazing.
Yeah, if you are
versatile guy, that guy.
He sure is.
He can't keep. I would say he can't. I don't know if you saw Saturday Night Live with him hosting. He can't keep a straight face to save his life.
He can't. That's fine. I find that endearing.
It was, but I mean, every skit. I'm like, come on, guys. But anyway.
Oh, that's a little Jimmy Fallon-ish.
It was,
which drove me fucking nuts back in the day. Like, Jimmy, get your shit together.
Yeah, but it was still good. it was still good. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
And then the last one, I feel like you guys know this probably, but when I go to any town, especially small towns, I really like to check out the local coffee shops. Like, I think it's a thing that resonates with me on some level. I just want to experience it. I want to give them all my money. Like, they're the best. So, especially in college towns. So in Kirksville, Missouri, they just opened up this really great coffee shop, and it's called Kirksville Brewing. And a lot of people get pissed off because they think it's a brewery when they walk in, and then they realize it's a coffee shop. And I fucking love it. The people there are so nice and friendly. And so, people in Kirksville who listen to this, you should definitely check it out and support them. They're awesome. The coffee is excellent. They also have boba tea and like a bunch of baked goods. So, I'm a big fan of it. And also, you should just support your local coffee shops, people out there, if you enjoy coffee as much as I do. So, those are the plugs. The unplug is a TV miniseries on the Max. Smith, I don't know if you've come across this. It's a documentary series, and I use documentary in quotes, called Fallen Idols, Nick and Aaron Carter.
So we have watched this. We just needed a break and something completely nonsensical and ridiculous. We actually watched that this week. We watched the whole thing. I'm going to let you have this moment because I don't want
awful. I mean, Tyson, like, it was sensationalism at its worst. Like, it was just so, it was done bad. The interviews were bad. Everything was just put together so poorly. Both of those, the Carter family in general, I feel for them on some level, but at the same time, like, you can boil it down to white trash family makes a lot and
exactly.
The story plays out from there.
Yeah.
You know, it's story as old as time. Kids in the family die of drug overdoses. Other kids, Nick Carter, total asshole, ends up raping a bunch of women, and that is fucked up. Like, there's definitely a story to be told there, but the way they did it was really bad. Really bad.
Yeah, and they just focused on, like, what was the not Nick, but the other the tattoo face Aaron part, like his like wife, and it was just grossness of bounds. Like, it was.
Now, what do these boys do?
So Nick Carter's from the Backstreet Boys. He's a blonde in the Backstreet Boys.
Okay, so that's okay. All right, and his little brother was in another thing.
And his little brother just followed in his footsteps, I guess, a little bit, Smith. Like, he was in like a bunch of like
in
Disney
the early
stuff.
He had, like, in the early 2000s, he had like the hit,
a
like
single
Aaron's House or something, and like, but he didn't do much beyond that, and then he got into like drugs and huffing and basically
the huffing stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed so hard on a couple of the stories, which I shouldn't have. But Tyser's one where he talks about how, or his ex-wife or girlfriend, whatever she was, who was a hot mess. Anyway, she's talking about how he huffed a bunch of shit, and I don't even know if it was like paint or what, but like, or no, it was the stuff that you clean your
it was computer
with.
Cleaner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He huffed that,
Canned
and then
air.
he got in his car and just went speeding. And then the cops pulled him over, but I guess the high doesn't last that long, so it only lasted like a minute, so they couldn't even like test it in his system or something.
Right.
So stupid.
Which is why huffing and driving will always be preferable to drunk driving. I think it's the lesson there. By the time they figure out who you are, you're already sober. So it was just like obviously tragedy, but it was just it was very TMZ-ish. Like, just it was.
Was this just
the whole thing?
Was this like a quick cash grab after they did the Nickelodeon thing? It's like they're trying to do another one of those.
It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Like, it wasn't like nobody, I think, was out there like, pawning for, a Nick Carter documentary. I think pining, not pawning. We watched that too. It's amazing what you get sucked into sometimes. Just like,
I did. I was like, why am I watching this? I really don't care about any of them at all. They're both terrible people. Yeah, I felt sorry for their sisters. I was like, and then 2 of them died. Spoiler alert.
2 of them died. Yeah, like 3 out of the 5 kids died of drug overdoses.
Wow. Let's focus on the parenting people. Like, the mom was a hot fucking mess. Dad seemed like a hot mess. Like, if you're a hot mess, don't procreate. Like, please stop.
That's
For the
And
love
they have
of
like
God.
they have like 5 kids. Like they just, I guess,
Yeah.
I don't know. If you don't get one
Ugh.
star, keep trying, I guess.
And it's so
Yeah.
like there was this gross part where like Aaron Carter's, because yes, face tatted, huffing Aaron Carter procreated, has a little boy, and he's watching like videos of his, and he's like dada, and he's adorable, and I'm like, here we
Yeah.
go, that woman is gonna fucking push his ass into Disney, Nickelodeon, all that shit.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just gonna play out
She
over and
was
over
like
again.
because she was what, influencer / model, I think was the I think the order of those model / influencer
They
has
met
more.
Tyson on Instagram.
Oh,
That's
that's sweet.
how.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it? Oh,
That's
adorable. It's romance.
Yeah.
It's romance.
So,
I was 6 when you were popular. I loved you. Yeah. I bet that every Backstreet Boy hears that a lot, or I've heard that a lot. You know,
Oh God,
when
yeah.
I was 8, I thought you were so cute, and he's like, "Are you 21 yet? Or 18's fine, really? That's fine." You know,
Or 17, or 15
Yeah.
if you're Nick
Or I think it
Carter.
was 15.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, that I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that.
Or if
Yeah.
you're autistic, no problems. No problems.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like he's a fucking asshole.
All right, well,
Like, not gonna take that away from it, but I was just like, this is one of the worst documentaries I've ever seen, and I can't get enough of it. So what does
Yeah.
that say about me? Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. So that's
It's
an
all right.
unplug.
We did. I hope it made you feel better that we also indulged in this.
Yeah, it does
Right.
actually, Smith. I had a
Spread the
feeling maybe you
shame,
guys
yeah.
went there, but I was like, there's no way in hell Tyson and B would ever
I
watch
mean,
that shit.
yeah, I
No,
mean, like
no.
your algorithms are pretty close. I mean, this have you tend to independently watch the same thing and then find out about it after you both
When
watch
it
it.
comes to
True.
documentaries, that is very true.
Yeah.
Like, we're very much
That's true.
on the same page for
We're
sure.
all in for it's got to be a really boring subject matter for not to be on a a documentary miniseries. Like it's just got to be real bad,
Really
and it
bad.
was. Yeah,
And that
yeah.
ID
Bars-
or whatever, and they keep pushing out the shit. I'm just like, because they did the Kevin Spacey documentary, which was also kind of trash. A little bit better, but trashy. Same format, same formula. It was just,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
whatever
a waste
works
of time.
for it. Yeah.
Hey,
That's the content he wants. He doesn't want the fucking guy who's in charge of that whole shit. He doesn't.
That's true.
He cancels
That's
stuff
true.
that people like, and he just pumps money into shit that will be like gotcha TV. But
Yeah.
Yep. That's
I'm
how
one
they
of
win.
those suckers. Yeah,
It's like a
Smith
reality
and I will
television.
keep
That's how they win.
eating it up. Yep.
Well, if it makes you
Yep.
feel any better, I tend to watch really boring documentaries like PBS level shit. So it's not as much.
I should watch more of that, Tice. Like, I really like all of the Ken Burns documentaries. I just downloaded the PBS app. I need to get to them. But then I go onto the Max and it's just like trash documentaries I'm much more interested in. That is a problem with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is like PBS has promos for their shows, but they're all terrible. It's like, like come learn how this happened, and HBO is more like, watch this kid kill 20 women and, then marry 3 of them that he always killed. And,
a little more compressed.
Yeah.
A little more. Yeah.
So it's like, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's that's it's like the next generation's Jerry Springer. Like we had Jerry Springer.
It really is.
And now
It really, yeah.
Trashy ID things.
Yep. It follows you. Yeah.
They've bastardized the documentary and we're to blame. So
Yep. Fuck. Now I feel bad about my choices.
My
life choices.
It's all right. It's all right.
We'll try We'll try harder next week.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in and up at a De La Soul concert, so it's not that bad. I mean, some of the
That's
choices
true.
we made are
we
pretty
still
good.
have good taste. I mean,
that's true.
That's a good point.
Occasionally, but sometimes I get tired of having good taste. Like,
I know.
Same. I just don't want to think sometimes. Like, I really just want to sit on the couch and just watch something really dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. Give your brain a little rest.
That's true.
I blame working in tech. That's all I'm going to say.
That's fine.
I'll leave it at
I'm feeling
that.
better.
Yeah.
I'm feeling glad we talked about this. I'm feeling better about the whole thing. Really.
Me too. I don't know why.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
All right, guys.
Isn't that a J-Lo
Yeah.
song? Isn't there a J-Lo song about
Oh,
she sings
more
it?
than likely. I'll get on that
Ugh.
right after the podcast.
Yeah. Me too. Yep.
Yep.
J-Lo for life. All right. Always a pleasure.
All right.
We'll be back next week for sure.
We will.
Everyone.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.